What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and this video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. But in this one, we got some big injury updates on multiple Michigan players who will be available against Washington as we go over Will Johnson, Josaiah Stewart, Semaj Morgan, Makari Paige, Myles Hinton, and others, plus Colston Loveland, Kendrick Bell. Talk about their confidence in the passing game, and Alex Orji. We also go inside Michigan's preparation for the game against Washington, and we also got some big recruiting news on the 5-star offensive tackle Andrew Babalola and another potential flip target for Michigan. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so let's go ahead and start this video by talking about some big time injury updates for Michigan. And we got a lot of players to talk about because there were a lot of players questionable and players that sat out against Minnesota. But luckily, Michigan is getting back a lot of players, including two absolute game records on the defensive side, and that is cornerback Will Johnson and senior edge Josaiah Stewart, who were both questionable for the game against Minnesota, but Sherrod Moore did reveal on the Michigan football radio show Inside Michigan Football that he expects both Johnson and Stewart to be available against Washington. He said, "I think they'll be ready to practice this week and be ready to go." He also expects Semaj Morgan and also safety Makari Paige, who did leave the Minnesota game, but he expects both of them to play against Washington. So that's some big news right there. And then we also saw the left tackle Myles Hinton as Michigan lost him in the second half as well of the Minnesota game. He was replaced by graduate Jeffrey Percy, who actually did come in and do a pretty decent job. Now, Sherrod Moore did say of Myles Hinton that he would put him as questionable, and we'll see how he progresses through the week. He did say that, Percy thought he did well. Wasn't surprised that he did well, but he did some really good things and played physical. But obviously, Michigan could really use Myles Hinton. He is one of the best offensive linemen that they've got. So we'll see if he comes out and plays against Washington. Right now, he is questionable, though. Senior center Dominic Giudice, he also was hobbled in the second half against Minnesota. He did stay in the game. Greg Crippen, he was already not playing due to an injury, so Sherrod Moore did say that Dom is working through some things. I think he'll be available to practice this week, so we'll see. He did say that Greg Crippen is definitely back and he'll be ready to go. So Greg Crippen, who hasn't made his first career start yet, could make his first career start this week. Now, luckily for Michigan, both Greg Crippen and Jeffrey Percy, they both have a lot of game experience. They don't have much starting experience, but they have appeared in many games in the past. So Greg Crippen should be back. Myles Hinton, Giudice, both questionable going into the Washington game. We also talked about the defensive back Jaden McBurrows. He will be out for the long run as he has a long-term injury. Sucks to hear. Hopefully he has a fast and speedy recovery. Then also Michigan's two safeties, graduate Wesley Walker, junior Jaden Mangham. They should be back at some point. They will be questionable going into the Washington game, though. But again, Michigan is going to be getting back Will Johnson, Josaiah Stewart, Semaj Morgan, and Makari Paige. They should all be ready to go, as well as Greg Crippen if Dominic Giudice can't make the start. Then obviously Colston Loveland, he'll be ready to go. Michigan did limit his snaps. They did a pretty good job of it, and now he is feeling pretty good, and he said that he is feeling great right now. So that is the latest injury updates on a lot of Michigan players. And then before we continue, I did want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video and channel throughout the football season. That's right, BetUS. They have all the odds you need this football season. They are one of the best in the business. And if you guys watched my Monday video, I did have the line scoring over more than 24.5 points, and we won that bet. Now looking at the Michigan-Washington game, Washington's favored to win this one, but listen, I know Michigan has been inconsistent this season. I think they're going to pull this one out on the road, and you can bet the spread right now. It's 2.5. in favor for Washington. I'm going to pick money line though. You can win more money and pick Michigan to win this one outright. You can bet $50 to win 57 or $100 to win 115. Then also the over under right now is 41, and I think the total might be over 41. So those are my picks for the Michigan-Washington game, and obviously Michigan covering the spread, picking them to win this one outright. And right now BetUS is offering a great deal, 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000, and then you also get 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000, all with code YouTube150. So go ahead, use promo code YouTube150 at betus.com, and obviously please gamble responsibly. But let's go ahead and continue here. And I did want to talk about a little bit of what Colston Loveland said to the media as he talked to the media yesterday. As we said, he talked about his health. He said he's glad to be back, and he said he's feeling great. Again, Michigan did limit him. He wanted to be out there more, but he said it was just the smart thing to do. They did a great job of managing my reps, but yeah, it's feeling great now, so it's ready to roll. He just said that he just doesn't want to re-aggravate it, and that's why Michigan really ultimately limited his reps against Minnesota. He did talk about the Michigan offense, Alex Orji. He said, I'm just waiting for him to take over. He's definitely got it in him. Obviously, he's freaky, but I'm waiting for him to just take over the game, which I know he will with his legs, with his arm strength. I know it's coming, so I'm excited to see when that comes. So Colston Loveland, he has a lot of confidence with Alex Orji, and the passing game has been great, but there has been small strides made. We talked about it. It improved a little bit from the USC game to the Minnesota game, and now we just need to see that improvement continue week to week. And obviously the whole team has to have a much better second half play. That's been their issue this season. Now, Kendrick Bell, wide receiver for Michigan, he said we have deep threats. We just got to go out and show it. We show it all the time in practice, and just being able to put it out there on Saturdays is a big part of it. So hopefully we see the passing game, get in more of a rhythm against Washington this Saturday. And again, we talked about it in the video yesterday. Hopefully we see more creative play calling, plays with both Mullings and Edwards out there. Michigan has a lot of weapons on the offensive side. They just got to be able to utilize them to their best strengths. Now, I also wanted to talk about inside Michigan's preparation for the road game against Washington. This will be their first road game. It's going to be at Husky Stadium. Be a tough environment for this team to play. However, Sherrod Moore did say on Inside Michigan Football Radio Show that we started doing practicing silent count during training camp and preparing for loud road environments, because I didn't want the first time for us to do silent count to be this week. So training camp, we've already practiced it in a little bit last week. We'll do some more this week, and we'll turn up the noise in Glick and make it as loud as possible. It gets pretty loud in there. He even did say that last year Trevor Keegan was losing his mind. He said that Glick was louder than Penn State. Now, Sherrod Moore said that there's zero chance it was louder than Penn State, but we'll definitely have it loud in there and test them. So it's definitely good news. Michigan will have it cranked up in their practice facility, and it'll be the first road test for Team 145, and it'll be Alex Orji's first start on the road. It's going to be very interesting to see how this team responds on the road. Then I did want to talk about some recruiting news. One on a flip target. We'll get to that in a little bit. But I did want to talk about the 2025 five-star offensive tackle Andrew Babalola and the latest on him, as he was expected to make a decision. However, he has delayed it. Told On3 Chad Simmons that, I just wasn't ready and had to take a step back, reevaluate everything. It's still the same 5 schools though: Auburn, Michigan, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Stanford. And his timeline right now, he said, I definitely think I will have it wrapped up before my season ends. I'm not going to drag it to signing day. Now, Michigan, they actually sit in pretty good shape. You look at every team: Auburn, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Stanford. There's only one school that everybody mentions, and that's Michigan. Michigan is always mentioned as a top competitor for Andrew Babalola. So there's no doubt Michigan is kind of the common denominator when it comes to the rest of the four schools in this recruitment. When they talk about, which school is the biggest threat to them, they all mention Michigan. So Michigan checks off a lot of boxes for him, and now we kind of just got to wait and see. Now Michigan has been working on some flip targets. We've talked about Alex Graham. We talked about Jamar Browder, the 6'4" receiver currently committed to NC State, which Michigan has a lot of momentum in that recruitment right now. I think they have a real good shot of flipping him. Another guy, though, is the 2025 4-star top 100 cornerback Oregon commit Brandon Finney from the state of Maryland, and Michigan has emerged as a threat to Oregon. He took a visit to the Texas game. He is now set to be on for an official visit November 23rd at Michigan as well. He told A.J. Holland of the Wolverine that I love it there. I love the coaching staff. The whole visit was great. I got to see the culture and what they had to offer, and the big house was great. He also did say that I watch Will Johnson highlights a lot because I try to replicate what he does, his ability in coverage and playing the run, and he also likes Coach Wink Martindale and Lamar Morgan, and he did admit that Michigan is definitely a potential school for me. So another potential flip target there for Michigan. Now there is one school who is actually a threat to some Michigan commits, and that is Alabama. Both Andrew Olesh and Ivan Taylor have gotten them on campus for a visit. Now, a good thing for Michigan is Ivan Taylor, he is going to be returning to Michigan for the Michigan State game, so that'll be a huge visit. Now, Andrew Olesh, he is still planning to take other visits to other schools as well, so those are two commits to keep an eye on, but Michigan also working on flipping some targets as well in the 2025 class. Also working towards the 5-star offensive tackle Andrew Babalola would be the cherry on top to this class. But other than that, that's going to wrap up today's video. Again, shout out to BetUS. Go ahead, check them out at betus.com and use promo code YouTube150. Other than that, though, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you guys go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it. And other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.